Kia ora, everybody. My name's Mark Smith. I am Principal Consultant at Frog Recruitment in Wellington. And clearly, I am not 𝘄𝗍𝗿𝗶𝗀𝗽𝗃, who is the normal host of these proceedings every Friday. Shannon is in the midst of moving offices in Auckland, and I'm based in Wellington. And I'm delighted to say today that we have a Wellington guest. So we're going to find out how can workplace disruption become a surprising opportunity for leaders, and we'll be joined by Matthew Adam, who's Change and Transformation Manager at Wellington City Council, to explore how workplace disruption may actually help open doors for leadership growth. Now, Matthew and I are actually neighbours. He's across the road from me, up on the terrace in Wellington. So I haven't met him yet, but I'm sure I'll be running into him in coffee shops very soon indeed. Also on today's show, job confidence is plummeting. So how secure do Kiwis feel about their jobs? We've got some very interesting report results there. We'll also explore our latest job opportunities across New Zealand. And lastly, pay or praise. Do your employees value recognition or a pay increase more than that? So stay tuned. Let's jump into today's broadcast. So, a recent report by Spark Effect's State of Organisational Trust revealed that 71% of companies in New Zealand have faced significant disruption in the past 2 years. The leading changes have been AI-driven system changes at 37%, leadership turnover at 36%, and layoffs at 28%. So to discuss this further, we are joined today by Matthew Adam, Change and Transformation Manager at Wellington City Council. Hi there, Matthew. Welcome, neighbour. How are you today?
Very good, thank you. Even though it's not the best weather, it's very good.
Well, it is Wellington. Yeah, what can we expect? So to start off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience, and more about your role as Change and Transformation Manager at Wellington City Council?
Absolutely. So I've spent the better part of more than a decade in the change space. In the trenches, as you might say. I've tried just about every type of change that's out there, from organisational to regulatory and compliance, big technology changes. Everything I could get my hands on, basically. And in doing so, had the opportunity to do so at some pretty cool places, like most of the banks in New Zealand, and some of the big other firms we've got, like Fonterra and Datacom and whatnot. I started my working career as a butcher, and so funnily, I sort of just fell into change management. But I had an old boss, he had these old-timey sayings that he used to drill into us, like time to lean, time to clean. And another one of those was, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. And so that was relating to like trying to sell them sausages and sell them steak, but in the change management sense, it definitely resonates there as well. So yeah, it's just funny how these little isms come through in later life. In terms of Wellington City Council, so I'm in the City Consenting and Compliance team, and my responsibilities are quite broad, to be honest. I've been the first change manager that I've had in there. Not only as being, a change leader, looking at the business unit's capability and how we uplift that, and internal and external communications and all that fun stuff, but also managing some of the strategic and tactical projects that we've got on the go to make things better for both our kaimahi, our staff, as well as obviously our customers, our ratepayers out there in Wellington. So some cool things on the way.
Indeed. So when we talk about disruption then in the workplace, it means a lot of different things to different people. So from your perspective, what kinds of disruptions are most common, and which ones are you seeing more often right now in the current market?
Yeah, cool. So I would class it. Sorry, I'll say it again. I would break them down into two categories, basically. So you've got your chronic human factors. And then you've got more of the digitization and the new age sort of escalating sort of disruptions. In that first category, you've got the likes of poor engagement, or people wanting to just keep doing it the old way rather than get on board with a new system and whatnot. So they push back and become resistors. Whereas you've got in the new age, you've got all sorts of things to consider, not only health and safety and mental health and all the likes of that, and the increasing amount of cases in that, across the workforce. You've also got things like, labour shortage, change fatigue, where there's just so much change coming down the funnel that our end users are really struggling to keep up with it. So all sorts of different sorts of disruptions from both the people and the technology side of things. Another really big one to think about is AI as a disruptor. It's come in out of nowhere, sort of. It's been there in the background, and sort of it's sort of really, really in its head. So how much do we, stop and reassess what we're doing, and do we use AI as part of the solution, or is it part of the problem? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. So when it does happen, so when disruption happens, then what do you see as the biggest factor that determines whether trust is created or strengthened or it's lost?
Yeah, well, it's funny, and you like the word itself. Trust is the core currency of change management, right? And leadership. If you don't have trust, what do you have? I see it being built basically on 3 pillars, which are transparency, inclusion, and reliability. And so the biggest thing around them is obviously just following through on what your promises are. To me, trust hinges on demonstrating integrity through action. So basically, if you say you're going to do something, go and do it. That transparency side of things is speaks for itself. Just be honest. Don't sugarcoat things. How is it going to impact me, and what's the why behind it, and what are we going to be doing, and that reliability. So not just disappearing at the end of a project, being there for the hypercare, being there on the floor to when we go live to make sure that everyone's supported, and I guess support is not a great word as well, but that being that person that they know that they can come to and they can rely on through the change, basically. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm sure everybody who's watching today, well, the people that caught my attention with today's topic is, so how does disruption then become an opportunity? So if you're a leader out there and you've got this disruption happening in your workplace, which clearly we do right now, so how does that become an opportunity to build stronger connections with your team then?
Yeah, definitely. So, other than practicing the things I've sort of just said, it does give you a unique opportunity, because there are stuff that you can do to work around. There is stuff that you can do to work around disruption, and I think the key thing there is it gives you a real opportunity to show that you value your people, as a leader, as a change manager, as anyone that's leading change. I think one of the key parts of change management is obviously having empathy. And it's something that you can learn or build on. But I think, having that strategic empathy, I guess, if you want to call it that, and empowering your team to actually drive the change themselves, that's 2 things that can come out of that. So when it comes to empowerment, identifying things like people like super users, people that are really keen and want to get on board with the change, and establishing things like change champion networks is a really good opportunity. That can build powerful peer-to-peer bonds, and I guess that sense of shared ownership as a team, as a business unit, or as the overall business. I think from a personal learning growth point as well, there's an opportunity to learn more around your people and how they learn and how they absorb information. I'm quite lucky in the sense that where I'm from the analog age, so before all AI and smartphones and all that, and I've come through and into the digital world. So I'm sort of what they call a sandwich generation, or a bridge generation, which means I can talk to the boomers. Sorry for the lack of a better word, and I can talk to millennials, and obviously translate between them. Yeah. So, well,
that was my next question, actually, is that are there generational differences in how employees may respond to sort of this workplace change? So Gen Z versus your boomers that you've already mentioned. I'm not going to throw any stones there. I'm just going to not even mention my age. But there you go.
Yeah, I hope we don't get cancelled for the boomer comment. So, like, generational differences definitely exist, 100%. but not in terms of the people. I mean, like, everyone's different, but what I find most is their the preference in the learning style. So I mean, the older sort of. I don't mean to keep calling them boomers, but we'll stick with that for now because I can't think of anything else. Sorry. They prefer more hands-on sort of training and that sort of classroom side of things, a little bit more time to get their head around things. Whereas our millennials, they want it thick and fast, short videos, cool and different ways of actually just doing it, not sitting in a classroom and having to try and write notes and absorb information. So I think on the whole, tailoring your change approach to cater for all types. So by all means, have classroom training. Back that up with media that's on demand, or there's so many great tools out there, both AI and just through PowerPoint even, that you can really create some cool stuff. I mean, embed GIFs into your lengthy process doc, so it's not just wordy words. Wordy words, that's a new one. But I think I guess the first point, or the main point around that is just learning your people's preference and adapting to that, tailoring that blended approach, and you're realizing that everyone's needs are different.
Fantastic. All right. Well, it's been absolutely marvellous talking to you today, Matthew. And I am sure I will see you on the terrace, coffee in hand, sometime soon.
Sounds good. I'll track you down for one.
Okay. Fantastic. Thanks very much. Thanks, Matthew.
Yes.
Okay, this week's Mahi Media is on job confidence, and in New Zealand at the moment, it's plummeting. So, how secure do Kiwis actually feel about their jobs in 2025? Well, that question was answered in the HCA mag. You can visit them at 𝘄𝐶𝗿𝗄𝗽𝗏.com to find these details. And the source of the information is from 𝘱𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗡 And what you can see here is that many New Zealanders are feeling gloomy about their employment prospects, and the index remains in negative territory. And the perceptions of job scarcity are at their weakest point since COVID, with falling employment and projected rises in unemployment. So unemployment's running, I think, at about 5.2%. So job security is still a major concern for everybody, especially for vulnerable groups. So the key takeaways from this, and jump onto 𝘱𝐶𝗿𝗄𝗏.com, is that employment confidence is at 89.9, which is still pessimistic. 2/3 say jobs are hard to find. So that's the worst since the 2020 lockdown. Employment is down 0.9% in the past year. Unemployment may hit 5.3% when the results come out shortly. And 24% expect job security to worsen versus 20% expecting it to improve. Our experience in Wellington is that there's been a slight uptick in Wellington in the last few weeks, I would say, but it's still a very challenging market in Wellington at the moment. And insecurity is higher for women under 30s and for over 50s as well. So some interesting stats, and I would jump into HCA Mag to see those. Okay, so last chance to grab a copy of the market report from Frog Recruitment. It has details of salaries across New Zealand, Australia, and the UK. We're also hiring right now, and particularly in Wellington, we've got some senior policy analyst positions across multiple ministries, and there are multiple roles. There are permanent positions paying from 99 to 443k. The two key consultants you need to see there are Peter Crestani in the Wellington team and Caroline Pryor. You can text 2186 if you wanted to start a conversation, but I'd encourage you to visit frogrecruitment.co.nz, check out the job descriptions there, apply, and then text through to the team and have a confidential messaging conversation. You can do things like lead and design innovative approaches to system-level policy issues, and you can apply your skills to meaningful policy work in a role shaped around your particular strengths. So jump onto those opportunities now. Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to be on Frogs on Friday. I don't even think we're calling that anymore. So enjoy your weekend, and Shannon will be back with more next week.